Vancouver, the Pearl of Canada, located alongside the Pacific Ocean. This, the third largest city in Canada, is one of the most beautiful on the American continent. A dynamic metropolis in a beautiful location with a temperate climate throughout the year. Vancouver's downtown is situated on the eastern side of the city, close to the harbour. At the northern end of Granville Street is Waterfront Station, a former station of the Canadian Pacific Railroad that once terminated here. Today it's a junction for the SkyTrain, the West Coast Express and the Sea Bus. Close to the harbour area, the city's skyscrapers have proliferated in the last few years. The capital of the southwestern province of British Columbia has developed into an economic centre of renown. Almost 2 million people live here, and the city's economy, culture and temperate climate have created a unique way of life. The reflective glass towers in the narrow streets of the city centre are an impressive sight. The city's oldest buildings were built less than 100 years ago, because the former wooden houses of old Vancouver were destroyed by fire. Several buildings reflect the origin of their inhabitants and are similar to those in the United States and Europe. The skyscrapers in the city centre dominate the scene, the result of rapid economic growth combined with the city's geographical location. With massive buildings belonging to international banks and insurance companies, plus apartments and hotels, frequently located next to modern shopping centres. Various Art Nouveau designs on facades and gates indicate their date of origin, as well as the artistic flair of Vancouver's inhabitants. Thus, it's not surprising, despite the city's rapid development and subsequent lack of space, some of its older buildings have survived between the skyscrapers, the gems of a bygone time. Vancouver is a young, lively and multicultural city with a good degree of charm and European flair. A 100 years ago, the city's architects succeeded in creating some extraordinary buildings that even today attract attention. Vancouver's new library was inaugurated in 1995, and the cost of construction? Close to $100 million. Inspired by the Colosseum in Rome, an elegant structure of pink stone and glass. Canada Place is located in the busy centre of the new harbour district and is also the city's most recent landmark. For the World Exhibition, in 1986, the famous architect Ed Zeidler enclosed the British Columbia Pier with a white tented roof. Massive cruise ships from all over the world lay anchor here. This remarkable architectural complex contains a congress centre with an hotel, restaurants and exclusive shops. Its unusual roof construction is reminiscent of a larger-than-life sailing ship. Close by is Harbour Centre, a modern skyscraper complex with a shopping centre and a skylift to the top floor. A glass elevator transports visitors to a 167-metre-high observation platform. The view across the city, the harbour and the bay is overwhelming. Even the huge tented roof and cruise ships below look minute from this height. Vancouver is undoubtedly the most populous city of the entire region, a destination for both immigrants and visitors from more than 100 nations. The exciting SkyTrain is the city's most popular means of transport. An ultra-modern train built on posts that crisscrosses its way through the metropolis. The most important destinations are easily accessible, and this has reduced the city's traffic, a major reason for Vancouver's healthy air. Vancouver is a metropolis with a very high standard of living and an oasis of fine city culture. A wonderful harbour city on the edge of Western Canada's vast wilderness. The Plaza of Nations was also built for the World Exhibition, a modern meeting place of many nations on the banks of False Creek. A gigantic roof construction extends across a huge square, the location of numerous open-air events. Today's successful city planning usually includes first-class leisure facilities, and Vancouver is no exception. False Creek is a fjord-like water channel that travels far into the city. It's as though the Pacific Ocean is reaching for the heart of Vancouver. These small boats are known as aquabuses. They float across the rolling waves of the creek and travel to each side of the river, from Science World to English Bay. Vanier Park at the mouth of the creek is one of the city's many leisure areas that provides a mild and relatively constant climate throughout the year. A modern domed building that dates back to 1968. It contains the Vancouver Museum and Planetarium. Stemming from Native American Indian folklore, the entrance to the museum is guarded by a crab. In this instance, a huge metal crab, created by George Norris. We return to the city by aquabus. The boat zigzags from station to station, from one of the creek's banks to the other. In 1778, James Cook lay at anchor here. At that time, the region was inhabited by the highly developed Squamish Indians in 10 small villages. In 1792, George Vancouver officially placed this coast under British rule. 26 years later, the first trading post of the Hudson's Bay Company was built here. The glass ball at the eastern end of Falls Creek was also created for the Expo. Today, it contains a large technical museum, Science World. It's built on 182 pillars, wainscoted with 766 glass plates, and illuminated by 391 spotlights. To the west of the inner city is the vast Stanley Park, the city's main green area, popular with one and all. Within the park, various artists exhibit their paintings and offer them for sale. A horse-drawn carriage is a good way to explore the 405-hectare nature park with ease. In 1888, Governor Lord Stanley handed over this green paradise to the city. Over 80 kilometres of pathways and roads provide good access to the park, and various entertainment facilities, such as a zoo and aquarium, are also at hand. The modern skyline on the other side of the water accompanies the relaxing journey by horse and carriage to the city's former coal harbour. This area brings to mind the country's native inhabitants. It was here that they lived in their colourful wigwams. However, they were conquered by the old world almost overnight. The white man came in search of gold, cut down the trees and hunted the animals. And as their locomotives finally reached the coast, life for the native Indians was never the same again. These colourfully painted totem poles come from different Indian tribes on Canada's northwestern coast. The City Council has gradually acquired these cult objects over many years. The inhabitants of Vancouver appreciate the park and spend many relaxing hours here in this natural landscape in the middle of the city. The road returns past the bronze statue of the swimming girl and Lions Gate Bridge, once the city's largest suspension bridge. Red cedars, many hundreds of years old, and lush green meadows are to be seen on the final leg of the journey. Back to the starting point of the round trip through the park. For the World Exhibition of 1986, on the edge of Chinatown, gardeners and craftsmen from Suzhou in China established Canada's first classical Chinese garden, the Dr. Sun Yat-sen Garden. Its ponds, zigzag bridges and small pavilions are similar to those in China, masterpieces of Far Eastern garden design. A place of silence and contemplation, surrounded by skyscrapers and all the clamour of a modern city. Here, all is calm. The garden also includes references to the relationship between yin and yang, a harmony of contrasts that was inspired by a 14th century Chinese garden. Captivated visitors stroll over bridges, across ponds, and through open pavilions. It's a journey to another culture, another world. Just as in Chinese fantasy, colourful Chinese lanterns guide the way to various pavilions. Vancouver's Chinatown is a fascinating exotic world. After San Francisco, it's the largest of its kind in North America. Victorian buildings are augmented with Chinese building designs. The first Chinese settlers arrived during the Gold Rush and later helped in the construction of the railroad. The streets of Chinatown frequently vibrate to festive processions with colourful kites and Chinese orchestras. Children are treated with traditional makeup and dress in colourful clothes. Numerous crowns and pearls highlight the importance of these festive events. Chinese bands accompany the procession on open lorries. Without music and rhythm, the souls of their ancestors would not be at peace. Such parades are always accompanied by a lot of noise, wind instruments and crashing cymbals, as well as flags and images of savage dragons. Yaletown was once a rundown district on the banks of the creek. Few wanted to live here, and it fell into disrepair. However, things eventually changed for the better. Its old red brick warehouses were modernised and subsequently inhabited. The district was transformed into a popular residential area and a quiet and exclusive location. Breweries have also become established here, and the name Yaletown has become well known. Gastown is the name of Vancouver's oldest district. Lovingly restored brick buildings from Victorian times, and a much-loved steam clock that toots every 15 minutes. This steam clock is run by the municipal power station and is a popular attraction in this old and much sought-after district. The fully restored old brick buildings today boast boutiques, restaurants, souvenir shops, bars and art galleries. The charm of this old district was rediscovered in the 1960s when it was restored, and has since become a celebration of the past. Today, although Gastown has some rather unconvincing replicas of Victorian street lamps, it's a fine place with cobble streets, attractive pubs and artistically decorated fountains. When he opened his first saloon here in 1867, John Dayton, or Gassy Jack as he was known, became the original founder of Gastown. And the city's original inhabitants also have their place here. The centuries-old art of the Inuits is on full display, and their precious wooden carvings are offered for sale. The most important city on the west coast of Canada is a very charming city. Today, Vancouver is Canada's gateway to the Far East, into the new markets of Asia that provide much prosperity due to healthy trade across the seas. Chinatown contains 100,000 immigrants, mostly from Hong Kong, and its money-hungry cash machines welcome customers in both English and Chinese. The city's multicultural society is its great success. Everything here is youthful, attractive, dynamic. In Vancouver, Canadian politeness unites with the Pacific way of life.